Hi, Assalamualaikum. For this video, we are going to discuss on Chapter 8 Fundamental Analysis for our FIN358 Investment Management. Okay, so this fundamental for Chapter 8 and Chapter 9, which is called Technical Analysis, is actually quite important for analysts out there in performing thorough analysis towards the stock prices, towards the company's performance, in order for them to analyze which company to invest, or which company is preferable for the investors, for these investors to invest their money and so on. Okay, so and this chapter 8 and chapter 9 also quite important for your coming group assignment, whereby you have to make a report. Choose any one company of listed at the Bursa, and you are required to do fundamental and also technical analysis based on the annual report. Okay, so let's take a look on the first part for fundamental analysis. So what does it mean by fundamental analysis? So it is one of the security analysis used by investors and firms to make decision on the stock performance. So in this analysis, it focuses on economic, industry, and also the company analysis itself. So it is used in determining what shares are worth buying and when is the right time to buy. So if they want to know which shares are worth for them to buy, or when is the right time to buy, when is the right time to sell, and so on. So is the shares are going to give them a positive return or not. So this is why they are doing the fundamental analysis. Okay, so fundamental analysis actually uses a top-down approach. So we call it as a top-down approach. We start with the analyzing the economy, and then they analyzing the industry, and then lastly by analyzing the company. So there are three main focus. First, they will analyze the economy. Second, they will analyze the industry. Third, they will finally analyze the company. So this is what we call if you want it to be draw, so you can draw like this one. So economy, second is industry, and the third one is the company. Or you can draw like a pyramid one, okay, just to show to you how the top down approach looks like. So they will analyze the biggest part first, which is the economy. The second is the industry, and the smallest part is the company, right? So this is how they doing the fundamental analysis. So as an investor, or if you are doing an analyst, as investment analyst, for example, we cannot actually leave the economic and industry factor, because it's really related on how does the companies do in a particular years, or in the their financial years. Okay, because economy or industry will drive the company, whether the company will success or not, right? So it's pretty much related toward each other. So that's why as an investor or as an analyst, you also have to be more skilled, or you have to know how does the economy works, how does the industry works, all right? So you have to be what we call as an economist, right? As an economist as well. Okay, you have to know the economic very well. Okay, because it's pretty much related to each other, right? Okay, so let's take a look on the economic analysis first. Alright, so this analysis assesses general state of economy and how does it affect the stock prices and the company's performance. So kita akan tengok macam mana ekonomi itu sendiri memberi kesan terhadap stock price movement dan juga company's performance. So in economic analysis, it can be divided into two main point of view, which are the first are the in terms of global economy. So of course, in terms of global economy, we are going to take a look the economy as the whole world lah, seluruh dunia. Okay, so first we are going to take a look on earnings. So for the earning parts, it will look at on how the company affects the firm. The economy affects the firm's earnings. So for example, when there is an increase of export of palm oil, let's say there is an increase of export of palm oil, let's say from Malaysia or for example. So due to why? Due to higher demand as a whole globally, right? So what happens to the other product? The other products such as soybean oil, we have a lot the corn oil and so on will be reduced, right? Because the demand is higher for palm oil. Okay, so these kind of products, they are always in a war. Okay, always in a war, sentiasa berperang satu sama lain, dan untuk satu produk itu naik, maka dia punya competitors akan turun, kan? Right? So this is how does the earning will affects the economy and it affects the firm's earning, right? Of course, they have to have a higher demand and also high sales to get a goods earning. Okay, so political. What about political? Political development, whether it is positive or negative, it will affect the countries economically, right? So highly stable political situation will actually stimulate the economic growth. So remember what happens to our country after the PRU 14, right? Our politic is quite unstable. So we are changing governments a few times already, right? So this is a kind of highly unstable situation for our country. And of course, if you take a look on the stock prices at the bursa and so on, during this time, the stock prices is not showing a good or a bullish situation in a long time, right? So if it's bullish, only because of a good news or some stimulations from the government and so on, but it cannot hold up to for a certain period of time, right? Because of our political situation, and it also affects the FDI, also affects the way that we could attract the foreign investors to our countries. Okay, so the third is on the exchange rate. And the exchange rate, for example, when there is a devaluation of Ringgit Malaysia, RM, Ringgit Malaysia refers to Ringgit Malaysia, such as 1 USD equal to RM 3.9 from 1 USD equal to RM 3.8. Look at how they move. Okay, even though it looks like just a 10-cent movement, so this will actually affect the total exports and imports cost, right? So if it's changed from 3.9 1 USD changed to a little bit lower RM 1 USD at RM 3.8, right? The export will be cheaper and import will be likely more expensive. Kenapa? Kalau harga asal dari RM3.9 untuk 1 US dollar, and then naik kepada RM3.8 untuk 1 US dollar, so our export akan jadi lebih murah. Okay, so our export will be cheaper, and our import will be likely more expensive, right? This is what happens when the movement of exchange rate plays a kind of important part, okay, in our economy. So this will actually affect the firm's earning. Secondly, if import exceeds the export, alright, the price of the goods normally will be more expensive. Dan sekiranya jumlah import melebihi jumlah ekspor, harga barang-barang biasanya akan jadi lebih mahal. Yes, so that's why we are supposed to export more, okay, compared to import the goods and so on, right? Okay, I'll give you another example. Let's say pada asalnya 10 years ago, let's say a few 5 or to 10 years ago, the RM is 3.8. Okay, RM to exchange to 1 US dollar is 3.8. So what is the rate right now? Okay, right now it's actually 4.024, for example. Okay, just take a look on how much that we actually already suffered, right? Because why? Ringgit, nilai ringgit yang menurun. Okay, kalau previously 3.8 for 1 US dollar, so sekarang nilai mata wang Malaysia menurun kepada 4.0. So you have to have 4 ringgit, right? For example, 4 ringgit to change to 1 US dollar compared to previously only 3.8, hanya 3 ringgit 8 sebelum ini. Okay, so perbezaan ini walaupun nampak macam tidak terlalu banyak, but if you calculate by katakanlah dengan jumlah 100,000, 300,000, right? So dah berapa cost yang you incurred lah, kan? So untuk keadaan ini, apabila mata wang kita jatuh lebih rendah, so jumlah ekspor akan of course will be cheaper, right? So kita nak ekspor tu okay, but for imported, kalau kita nak beli barang dari US, for example, ataupun you nak beli barang dari mana-mana country but you use the USD for the exchange rate, so ianya akan incurred cost yang lebih mahal. It's more expensive lah, right? So that is how the exchange rate affects the firm's earning. So that's why our country tried to launch a campaign to lessen the import of goods and try to produce or export further, right? This is to actually helps our economy. Okay, right now the second part, okay, earlier adalah about global economy. So kita ada lagi satu iaitu domestic economy. So this one I will explain in the next coming video.